Okay, so you've got a shipping container. This one seems to be pretty flat and level, and the doors will work. I'd like to show that to you. Okay, so the doors are working. You can tell that because I can easily open them up. It's a little bit stiff on that left door. I'll show you what. So when you're dealing with doors, it has to be square. This one is a nice one to show it because you've got this bracket and this plate. Most containers don't have the bracket. Most of them have maybe a plate. Some of them don't even have that. When you look at the top where the seal is, you can see that it lines up. Now you've got these door bars, and they've got cams and cam retainers. These door bars are straight. That's where your padlock goes. Now if the door is not square, then the cams will not line up with the cam hooks and the receivers there. And I'd like to show you how easy that is to do. This one's fairly straight, fairly level. It's not on a prepared piece of ground. It's just a container out here in the yard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my camera and I'm going to lift just one corner a little bit. It doesn't take very much. But I am going to go a little bit higher than is strictly necessary just to show you how it can go. Now that left door was a little stiff to begin with, but it was something I could just lean on a little bit and it would work just fine. I've lifted this up, not even enough to slide a 2x4 under there yet, but that should be enough to make it really hard for me to open these doors. So I'm going to try to open this right-hand door. Not too shabby, but it's still being held square by the left-hand door. This center plate still lines up inside the bracket. But now I'm going to open up this left-hand door, and that situation should change. Okay, it came out. You might not have noticed. Might not look any different. But, you know, you get your stuff loaded in there and one corner settles lower than the other. You get some weight. What happens is these cams no longer line up. Your door is now twisted. The frame is a little bit like this, and the door still has to be square. But you got the back of your container is square, and the front is now twisted. You got that twist, which causes this front square hole to no longer be quite perfectly square. So let's see what happens. Now I'm trying to rub this in, and it really doesn't want to go. What's happening is I've got this door is running into the frame at the bottom. And that's because that side has got more room and it's twisted off. So if I push really hard, I could actually force this door in, and that would shift the container a little bit. But I run the risk of bending these door handles and making it so it's a pain to open at all times. So now I'm going to shut this one just a little bit. Just want to be able to show you the difference. You can't probably see it from there, so I'll bring the camera over. Now let's see what else happens. See, you've got this container kind of wants to stay square. It is steel after all, but it's a long 40-foot container. Lift it up a little bit. This right-hand side is lifted up quite a lot, and then on the back it's off the ground a little bit. It's just having all sorts of trouble. Let's show you what I wanted to show you. Now these doors mostly shut. You can see there is no way this right-hand door is going to seat with that left-hand door. It's quite a bit different. Now, when you're looking at the cams, all that weight, that door, you'd have to push on that cam really hard. See how that space on the bottom there? That shouldn't be there. That should be kind of in the middle, but you've got the top of the cam there is really resting on the cam receiver, and you'd have to push with everything you got to force that door up into there. And you could do it, possibly, but it'll bend things and break things. I'm not into that today. So what I want to do instead is lower this jack, and let's see what happens. First thing you'll notice is it's no longer crazy out of square there. Still not perfect, but this is not on hard ground, so let me put the phone back over here and see if I can get that to shut now. Now before, this wasn't even letting me shut at all. There you go. That was actually pretty easy. That was surprisingly easy. But it also brought it a little bit better square. So now the plate here is centered in between the brackets. Now you want to take, when you're opening and shutting these containers, if you've never had one before, start by putting your handles perpendicular so those cams will go into the cam receiver's top and bottom. And then start with the outside pole, the one that's closest to your outside hinge, and bring it in just a little bit. Not all the way, because that one's still kind of holding it still. But that little bit brings it in, makes these cams seat a lot easier. Now, it's just a light touch to get those in. And that's the difference. It's just a small amount of one corner being out lifted too high off the ground can make on a container. So if your container doors aren't working, check to see if they're square. It might be a problem with the ground preparation. In fact, most of the time that's exactly what it is.